Oh,
Go for it, man.
we're live on the computer?
Yeah, we're live
Oh,
right now.
they can hear us right now on the stream. Hello, holy shit. Welcome. It's a really...
Yeah.
All right,
Very good start.
good start. Good start. All right, let's try it again.
One more
Good
time.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Summer Brawl brought to you by CappingTV. My name is Just Jazz. It's first time in a long time. And joining me tonight is my good buddy Lugnuts. Lugnuts, how are you?
I think I'm on the other side, actually. You know, you're pointing off to the... yeah, you're on that side of me, so there you go.
We're going to get there, man. We're going to get there.
There eventually.
We got games to watch. How are you?
I'm doing good, Jazz. I woke up way too early for this, so, you know, I'm in perfect condition for casting.
Well, it's almost 12 a.m. here in Mississippi, where I'm coming live to you from. So you got the afternoon down there, or the evening. We got evening up here, and we got games to watch too, man. Like I was saying, it's the Summer Brawl, but it's the Summer Brawl, but where it's a little bit different this time, right? Because last time we had the Summer Brawl, the last 2 years running, it was no off class, so there was no sniper or spy or pyro, any of that nonsense. It's full cookie cutter TF2. This is a land down under replacement. You know, unfortunately, it was canceled, and so now we're here. But this is all right because it means that more players are able to play tonight, and so all the coverage that we're going to be bringing you tonight is from the Prem Division. And I mean, Lugnuts, it's been a while since I really paid attention to the Australian scene, but I am seeing some names on here that I recognize. We got Soiree, you know, I'm seeing Fane on one of those teams. You're a big Fane fan, right? You know, he loves Fane,
I'm a
this guy.
huge Fane fan. Fane is my idol. One day I hope to be Fane, but I don't think medical science has progressed enough.
Not yet, but we're working on it. So, yeah, so tonight's maps as well are going to be a mixture of just various classics as well as some refresh maps. And I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking at some of these games and some of these teams that we're going to be watching, and it's really cool to see a lot of the same names still in the scene. Yeah, it's very,
where else
very
are they going to
exciting.
go? Welcome to Australia.
Yeah, it's not like they can actually go to a different game, right?
No, exactly. I think Mitch actually has a few players still locked under the LAN venue basement, just to make sure that none of them will escape the games.
Being told by Mitch, oh, we got the leaderboard brought. So these are the teams that we've got for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have the returning champions of Oz Fortress, Soiree, who are first seeds for obvious reason. They've just been a dominant force the last few seasons here in this fortress. We got Taylor Swift Fan Club, which is the alt team. Alt as well, by the way. I remember when I first started playing Oz Fortress back in season 25 or 26, whenever it was. Alt was still some intermediate scrub, and now he's at the top of Prem. Allegedly, of course. So I don't know what that says about if that's alt improvement or the player disprovement, whatever you call it, in Oz Fortress. And we got Freak
alt
Show.
is just once in a generation kind of player, you know? I mean, they don't really come around like alt anymore, man, honestly.
He really is the Australian Blaze, I'll tell you that much.
I haven't seen his here recently, so we'll have to put that on hold.
The last time I saw alt was, we were still in, this would have been like a month before we were locked inside of our houses in Melbourne, and he still had some luscious locks. I don't know if it's quite Blaze quality, but it definitely was. Yeah. Anyway, next team. we've got Freak Show, which is another just really like jam slammed lineup. You know, got players down Dalt. Down, not Dalt. Down, Daz, Doc, Connor, Daz,
Same
Mirmu.
players.
That's gonna be a great team. and some other teams as well: Homer, Goblins, Ascension, Jolson Fan Club, and Power Tools. And we want to run down those rosters, or we just want to keep on talking and act like we know a little bit about the team? All right, so we're told that we should run down the rosters by our good friend Mitch Cliff123, the brain man himself of CappingTV. So how about we go alternating? I'll take Soiree, then you Taylor Swift, and then so on and so forth. How's that sound?
Sure. Yeah, I definitely got rosters right here, man.
Well, I thought we were going on rosters, Mitch. What are you saying? Oh, we're doing Homo versus Goblins. Is what I've just been told.
Homo?
What are you?
All right.
Homer. This is why you don't get
go.
me to cast at 12 o'clock in the evening.
This is ungodly hours, you know that. You shouldn't be awake for another 4 hours, honestly.
This is right. So we're doing Homer and Goblin. So I'll go down the Homer roster because I recognize some of these names, except for the sleep guy, Yachty. So we got Yachty, Raylan, Camille, Tachyon, Matt, Honk Honk, Ozzy, and Zeus. One of those guys is not going to be playing, but it doesn't say on the team page, so we'll just go to the next. Who's on Goblins tonight? Lugnuts?
That's a very good question. Okay, so I've heard that. Okay, finally got a link here. So my boy Nerf's actually on this team, another very good player. Svillers is on the team on Scout. Then there's Oz playing Roaming Soldier, Andrew playing Pocket, Durfee playing Demoman, and Multi on Medic. Do I see a few subs there as well?
Yeah.
Yes. Substitutions
Yeah, but they
not
won't be
playing
playing.
today.
We don't even have to worry about them.
Oh, okay. I could have given a shout out there.
Oh wait, who are you going to shout out? Get the shout out first.
Mosey Merkme, Fizzle My Dizzle, the main man himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, that guy is someone I knew at some point.
At some point.
Let's see. So it's Homer versus Goblins, right? Where's the Homer team? All right, so I'll reread the roster because I know who's playing where now. So it's Zeus and Tachyon on Scout. Zeus is actually very horrifying to face as a Scout. I just imagine he's probably gotten a little better too. So Zeus, Tachyon, Scouts, Raylan and Yachty on Roamer and Pocket, respectively. Matt on Demo and Camille on Medic. So no Ozzy 12 this round, which unfortunate. I love Ozzy. He's one of my favorites. But this other team, Goblins, looks quite good too. Nerf, I'm a big fan of course, formerly a base department. Made that jump from main to Prem. Whether or not he did well, I'll leave that to the people who paid attention.
Hey, come on, man! Nerf's is completely crazy player.
He's both cracked and goated.
Also a Highlander heavy, and probably at the stage the best in Australia. So,
well, like Red Pandas is gone now, right? They're dead.
Yeah, they've been gone for ages. Don't even remember what they are.
That's
what
like
is Red Pandas?
Then he becomes like the best heavy in Australia just by default. It's not like he climbed the ladder. It's just like old mate is like, well, I'm gone, and then
it's
that was
Nerf,
it.
Man. Guys' aim is unreal.
Yeah, he is cracked. They got Svillas too. Svillas was another. He used to be on Bra Moment back in the day, season 27 and 28. That's almost 2 years since the roster we had season 27, because you were on that roster too. I remember this.
Yes, Svillas I was. I played there.
Is one of those players where it's like you give him an inch and he just walks into you and like two shots you and you're dead. There's no like, is this the right time? It doesn't matter. It's always the right time for this guy because he always lands his shots. Oz as well. Oz is such a funny player because like, I don't know. He's actually not that bad. I don't know if I can take him seriously or not.
Okay, now here's the question with Oz though, right? So yeah. Oz team did crazy good the last time an actual LAN was held, right? So because the Summer Brawl is a replacement for the LAN, does he get the LAN power up or not?
Well, I don't know, because you got to remember back at the LAN Down Under 2019, I think it was.
Some age ago.
Oz was on the Demoman class. Now he is on he's on Roamer. Well, he's on Roamer, right? So maybe he's been hard drilling it into Derpy, whether or not they should use the quickie bomb and crits full time, which would actually be pretty funny. I would like to see that.
Please let us see that. Yeah.
I have very fond memories of like a 15-year-old Oz who's like 5'5" at the time, like screaming at top of his lungs, like main calling his team from across the place where LAN was taking place at. So that gets. I mean, he's just a bottle of energy. So I expect we'll see a big performance out of the young man tonight. And too, he was banned from Oz Fortress for about a year or so, wasn't it? So
yeah, I think so.
He's gonna. Every now and then I'll look in the Oz Fortress Discord and I'll see. I'll look at like the looking for players just to be like, hey, let me roster right. I want a medal. And it seems like Oz is wanting to make that jump into Prem, so this could be maybe that first, I guess, putting himself in the shop window, saying like, hey, I'm ready to make that jump, or hey, if you're ready to make that jump, this team is for you. Of course, they have to play a season with Oz, but
here's the hot question, right? Does it count legally speaking as selling yourself if you play medic for a Prem team after previously being in high?
What?
I'm just saying.
I mean, if you get a Prem medal, you get a Prem medal. I think that counts more than like anything else, right?
Do you remember Pork also has a Prem medal?
I don't. Who?
For those who don't remember, Pork the Spy is the greatest spy in Australian TF2 history. If you want to know more, you can check out his frag videos. He paid us a lot of money to rep his YouTube here.
That I can't attest to, but I'll take his word for it. So we're going to Process. Process is the first map of the night here on CappingTV Summer Brawl 2022, this time with off classes. So I don't know. Process is always sort of that stock standard pug favorite, right? Everybody plays Process. Everybody gets tired of playing Process every now and then. So, looking at these teams, I'm just trying to think of who really gets the edge here, because I think Goblins, their name speaks for themselves, right? Where I imagine that is going to be that style of play. It's going to be very very just sort of all in, very chaotic, very chaos, which happens to be what chaotic means as well. Very chaosy.
No way.
Yeah, just if anybody forgot how synonyms work. In fact, it's so similar, it's actually the same word, just a little bit different. Anyway,
it's crazy.
And then Homer, just at the very least, again, just a cursory glance at the rosters that these guys are playing with. It seems very much like a team where these guys have been in Prem for a while, or sort of been around that top level of Osfort. So I think they might just be a little bit more organized and ready to take advantage of whatever advantages that they're given. But that said, like I said, looking at this Goblin team, I think that there's a lot of potential if they get really chaotic and they really manage to unsettle the team, the boys on Homer. That we could be in for an interesting match. So what are you thinking, Lugnuts?
Well, I don't know, man. Last time we had a Summer Brawl, there was no off classes that were allowed. This time there are off classes. So I'm looking at the rosters here, and I don't know. I can see a couple of degenerates on Homer. I think that we're going to see a pretty big sort of swing towards some classes like the Sniper. I know Yachty likes to go on that. I know Zeus is very cracked on that as well. And honestly, I'm pretty sure every single player on Homer could just off class the Sniper at some point and do some crazy stuff. So show us the demo man off class of Sniper. Go do something crazy. You're allowed this time.
Yeah, well, it's a good point there, because I am looking at some of these players, and you're right, Yachty and Zeus in particular. Zeus is one of the reasons why I hated playing Pugs, because that guy dies and then he comes up Sniper, and then not only does he come up Sniper, he starts hitting everything too, and but so I would definitely look to see him off class a little bit. Trying to think of who else. Raylan, I'm actually looking for big things out of too. Raylan was always one of the players who, I always got on really well with him. I think he's a good kid. He's a smart player. So, especially on that Roamer class, Roamer always has the potential to be, I don't know, the playmaker in a sense for your team. And, Raylan certainly has some mechanical legwork to make his jumps happen. It's just a matter is you know, is he going to pick the right times to make those opportunities happen? Is he going to or is he just going to have like feed roamer theory like some players are wont to do?
I mean, everyone knows that you can directly tell the skill of the roamer based on the amount of deaths they have at the end. The higher amount of deaths, the better the roamer. This is just TF2 science.
Then that last pug I played on roamer, I might be the best roamer of all time.
Have you hit 40 deaths in a 30-minute game yet?
I maybe played like 5 pugs as roamers. I don't know. But
you're not quite there yet, you know, you're gonna have to do grinding.
Crap. well, next time. Well, I don't know. So the process. What are you thinking, Lugnuts? I know you've been around sixes for almost too long. What do you think about this first map going
almost
on?
Too
process?
long. It's definitely too long. Any sixes is too long, man. But process is one of those. You know, it's a pug map. Everyone's played it to death. I'm pretty sure everyone's most played map at this stage is process. So no team here should have any great advantage when it comes to player experience. Definitely on this map. Because there's nothing really special on Process. Process is a more scout-friendly map than some of the other maps. I mean, it's not a soldier-friendly map like potentially Gullywash or Badlands or something like that. So, I mean, all maps in the game at the moment are pretty well headed by the scouts. The scouts are in a very powerful spot in the meta. So, I mean, I don't even think you're getting too much of an advantage on Process as compared to something like Snakewater, for example. But I mean, definitely it's a map that some of these teams should have a pretty easy time on. Especially, I think, you know, maybe Homer's playstyle might suit it a little bit better than Goblins, depending. But again, it's a map everyone's played. It's sort of like the default sixes map. So to be honest, nothing too fancy should come out of that.
Yeah, I remember looking into sort of the history of Process, and did you know, Lugnuts, that they came upon the name Process because the map maker said that you know, it was the process of making a good map will net you something like Process every single time. That's what Banny said in one of the RGL staff chats. I'm probably paraphrasing. I'm like totally wrong, but there's your little TF2 lore for the day. Yeah. So, well, it is one of those maps, you know, like you were saying, where it's very I mean, it's the most played sixes map by probably a certain order of magnitude. So, especially for some of these teams, I'm not sure how often both Homer and Goblin were scrimming. But I mean, all these players have, you know, they could play these maps in their sleep. So ultimately, it's. I'm going to give you an expert level prediction here. The team that dies less and caps more probably going to take the victory here today on a process.
I don't know. I think I'd agree with the team that caps more here, but I don't know too much about the team that dies less. You know, I mean, sometimes things can get a little bit wild. I mean, yes, Process a pretty vanilla map. You know, nothing super exciting comes out of it. The team that dies less generally has a bit of an edge in TF2, but, you know, I think that we could see something a bit surprising here, given some of these players. I don't know.
Well, going back to these rosters real quick, looking at some of these, if you had to pick one or two players from both Homer and Goblins that you think are going to be the difference makers tonight, who you looking at?
Ooh, okay. So for Homer, my two would be probably Zeus and Matt. And you know, I'll just mention it a couple times so that eventually Matt will stop trying to get the $80 I owe him. Unless we're going to land, it doesn't count.
Why does he owe you $80?
No, I owe him $80.
Why do you owe him $80?
Well, you see, last LAN we had, I told him that I'd pay him $100 if he drank some dude's soy milk who was playing at the same venue. And he did it, and then I gave him a $20 New Zealand note because the same color green is an Australian $100 note. So, you know, I'm still not going to pay that $100.
Pulled a fast one on him. Jeez.
Yeah, man. So he chugged some soy milk. I got a great show out of it and a good story. And I got to keep $80 as well. For the Goblins team, I'd probably say that my star players would be Nerf for sure, and coin flip on Oz. Oz is either going to do really well or really badly. There's no in between. Like that's just the fact of the matter. You know, he's a completely greasy player. Honestly, gets in all the creases and crevices. You have no idea what's going to happen, where he's going to go. He's a complete wild card. Honestly, he's either going to absolutely carry the team, or it's going to be something absolutely insane. I expect Market Garden plays as well, to be honest, which means he's either going to drop the medic or going to die 5 times in feed. Nerf, it doesn't matter what goes on. He's just going to get an absolutely disgusting stat line and do so much for his team. I mean, the guy's a prodigy. So, yeah, those would be my star players for Goblin.
You're big on Nerf, big Nerf fan.
Nerf nothing, massive Nerf fan. It's Nerf or nothing, man. Honestly.
Good on you. I've got to fix my binds real quick. I don't know what's going on. Unbind all exact binds. All right, let's try this again. Yeah, and all of those are very good names. Looking at these rosters, I think Zeus is going to have a strong game. I think he's just a very strong player in general. And I think a map like Process, where he can be both a scout extraordinaire and a sniper and pick him off style game. I think this is that's sort of the where he thrives, right? He thrives in that type of gameplay. So big thanks from Zeus today. And again, Raylan I already spoke about as well. I think Svilliz. I think this might be a game where Svilliz has one of those moments where everything just clicks for him, which would be fun to see. I'm a big Svilliz fan. He's a great kid, heart of gold.
And you see, the thing with Svilliz is that you're supposed to not mention Svilliz, because Svilliz is a sleeper agent. You don't expect him to do something, and then he just comes out swinging and catches everyone by surprise every time. So yeah, you deliberately don't mention him so the other team doesn't catch on.
You just have to say his MK Ultra sleeper agent phrase, and it's like just turns on, right? So it'll be I might actually message him real quick, be like, "Hey, what's your sleeper agent phase?" And call him up and be like, "The moon walks at midnight," and he just starts, 60 frags in one game.
He pulls out the force of nature, hits 80% accuracy in a match, unstoppable.
Yes, I think that's how it works. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, pretty sure.
We have all 6 in server.
Well, 12 in server.
That's what I meant. We have all 6 players for both teams, equaling 12 on the server.
Don't be too hard on him, guys. He's American. Come on.
Correct. Yes, and I'm also just a old chunk of coal nowadays too. We're like 12 o'clock. My bedtime, Mitch Cliff was like, I gotta have this guy at gunpoint and bring him in. So, and he says that's right in my ear too. So here we go.
He knows he's got you. Okay, here's an actual genuine question, because it's not summer over there, is it?
No, it's the dead of winter.
So this is an interesting summer brawl for you, because I was thinking, hey man, it's a summer brawl. I should show up in a Hawaiian shirt or something, And then I realized that Snazzy's probably already got that covered, and then I figured, hang on, it's the middle of the winter for Jazz. Like, is it freezing cold there, or what's the story?
Now right now it's about in Celsius, it's about 5 degrees. So
very nice. All right. So a lovely summer brawl, 5 degrees for you, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's not the worst in the world, but like I certainly would prefer a nice warm day. I just don't like winter, right? It just the days are way too short. That's the first problem. The days take, in summer the sun goes down at like 9 o'clock and it's wonderful, and then in the winter it's like, I don't know, big thumbs down for me. I don't really have anything to add on top of that.
See, the problem with the summer is that because the days are so long, you have a really hard time figuring out when you're supposed to wake up. Because usually I just wake up in the middle of winter when it gets dark around 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. and, perfect time to wake up. But, in the summer, it's just too bright all the time.
They have something called blackout curtains. You can get those, and they actually keep the sun from going inside your house. Just
I think it's the sun's fault. I'm not going to get some curtains to fix its problem. Great thing about Wellington at the moment is that usually it's a rainy and grey hellhole, but at the moment we're actually having a really great summer, really bright sunny days, and so we're going to have a great summer brawl over the weekend, all up until the cyclone comes in this Monday and wipes us out. So
very
good fun.
Now remember, folks, this is a replacement of the Land Down Under. So, Lugnuts, actually, remind me if correct me if I'm wrong, but you were actually about to get on the plane to go to LAN before at the very last second you guys decided no. Tell us about that. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, no. The original LAN that was scheduled midway through last year, and all the lads from Wellington were all getting ready to go on the same plane. Me, Crud, Frydog, Spartan, Ambrosio. And the last second, we saw some extra cases in Victoria and thought, nah, this is too risky. Decided to cancel our flight. Literally just about when we're about to board, our bags were already on the plane and everything. And just managed to not go in time for it to announce that Melbourne was going into lockdown and LAN was cancelled. Wow. Yeah. But that was last LAN. We luckily took the decision to not try our luck again for the January LAN and avoided the same problem happening.
Very good. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my game to fix itself. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, unfortunately for you, because the game's actually started. Both teams have readied up.
All right, take us away, Lugnuts. Well, don't take us away yet.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Matt is first to mid. We have a soldier bombing very high end, Tachyon. Just taking some spam at Derpy. Derpy going pretty low here. Yep, the exec has happened now. So
all right, good.
Throw away mid just for padding some stats.
Well, my game's relaunching, so we'll get to it here in a second.
All right.
You can tell I was really prepared and put together for this.
He had plans. Well, Derpy first to mid again. Actually, pretty much the same time as Matt, I think. Again, British forward spam. Tachyon taking on the Roma. Nothing too much exciting happening there. Nerf taking a little bit of high ground. Good radio cast for anyone who's not actually able to tune in. Big soldier bomb goes in. Doesn't do too much. He manages to get out of it. Survives. A lot of the blue team has walked forward now. They've managed to pick up the Roma who did the big bomb. And now it's actually looking pretty good for them as they're forcing a lot of the red players into a corner. Svilla's team is Goblins, right? Yeah, Svilla's having to pull out through sewer at the moment. They're getting cornered really badly here. That's actually an entire team wipe coming through from Homer as they go towards picking up the first mid. Jazz, I can't actually hear you at all.
We have secured the control point.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there's something.
There we go. I somehow put myself on mute. I apologize for that. Yeah, it's just I sort of caught the tail end of that, and it really, from what I could tell, everybody had just been corralled into that corner, a death corner, if you will, but not in the granary type of sense. And really, once you're sort of backed in that position with no way of escaping, you know, it's really a matter of if not when the collapse happens. And unfortunately for Goblins, it happened very quickly.
Very quickly for them. They do have enough time to get up the sentry again. I think they might have killed the medic or something because Ubers are looking very even at the moment. I didn't actually quite see what happened there. Just a little bit of poking coming on from the, what is this team? Homer. Poking into the last a bit. There is a sentry gun going up, I think I've said. I've actually been taken down for a heavy now, so... Been taken down for no off class now, so, you know... Uber has come in, however, on the other side from Homer. Was beaten by the Goblins Uber, as Goblins actually pushed this out of last a bit. Get some spam, can't get too much. Only a Roma down on the side of Homer, so should just reset to a last hold.
Sorry, I'm still having game issues. You're gonna have to give me one more second, Lugnuts.
Alright. Well, Spillers went down there at the tail end of that. Gonna give a little bit of time for maybe another set coming out of Homer. Doesn't go too well. Soldier does die there. Derpy going down actually pretty low to the scout. Nerf dying to a big bomb from Tachyon. A lot of presence over the point from Homer now. This is looking so good for them. They picked up 4 and they capped the last point. That was a really good push off the back of that. Svilla's, I think, dying just at the end of that push out. Just gave that opportunity for the push, and then everything just went really well from there.
Yeah, and I think that was a little bit of what I was hinting at the in the pregame of some of these players are they're so quick to recognize when a situation and opportunity presents itself that you know they just moved very quickly, consolidated their frags, and that was it. So now mid number 2, short first round, and no real rotation committed to yet. Now Australia doesn't really do this rotation play like we do here in NA, but bombs have been initiated. Big red bomb getting Camille in a corner, but she survives. 35 health. Matt is also quite weak too. But they've got these 2 soldiers as an advantage, and red team is having to play in the blue choke. Now they have to be really careful here. Oh, just a spare rocket killing the med, and Nerf going down too. Oh, Tachyon does. I don't know if you saw that, Lugnuts, but Derpy just jumping in, trying to get whatever salvage frag he can get, and Tachyon's just like, not today, and just blasts him out of the sky. Really convincing second mid, and you know, with full Uber advantage, and players just now spawning for red, you can bet they're looking to take this in very quickly, which they are through 4. There's no players really pressuring them. They're just pushing them all into the corner. So time 3 on the cap. They haven't used yet. They dropped their demo though. Matt going down. This could be bad. But they've picked up Svillas and Balmain, which is that Oz? I don't know who that is. But it doesn't even matter because that's two rounds in short succession. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really quick there. That was just a really dominant mid into the second, into the last. I mean, yes, they dropped Matt there, might make him a little bit mad, but you know, they managed to get in the end, so no big losses here. It's just going to lead to another mid. I mean, we're really going to need to see something coming out of Goblins here. Maybe not so heavy on the rotate, more on the take position angle.
Yeah. Well, they've got to really make sure this mid counts, right? You know, you don't want to drop 3 rounds or at the very least lose 3 mids very early onto the map. You want to make sure you can show that you can compete at this level. A big bomb coming in, but he just opts to fly into choke. They've got to be careful because they haven't really... This might be because I'm used to NA, but like the old rotation play is not how we do it in Australia. Forget these things. But both soldiers on the blue team going down. So now it's a 4v4. Lugnuts, what are you seeing here, man?
Well, I'm seeing things looking pretty rough so far on the health situation for at least one of the soldiers. He has gone down. Now it's a 3v4. You know, bit disconnect from there. We're going to see how Derpy and Svillas manage to get out of this. The Uber does come out, however, really bad considering that there's still a full Uber on the other side. And right in the choke, they go straight for the damn man, get him down. Medic has managed to get out of this though. That was a really good Uber use for them. They're going to have a slight little bit of ad. They're going to be on last. No demo, no soldier though. They're going to have to watch out for some pokes here. Any sacks coming in on early last plays because all the players are up for Homer and still 2 down for Goblins.
Yeah, and they're just taking this in really quickly, although the blue soldier going down early on into that is just going to sort of stop that push. And they'll see if they can get any other frags in lobby while there is a player up in heaven trying to get another frag, but Tachyon's going to go down first. Nerf and Svillas doing a good job at watching the med, and this could present an opportunity for them to push out. They do have to be quick though, because looks like Raylan has, I believe that's Raylan, has just come up on the respawn timer, excuse me.
See, in a position like this, though, Homer has a really big advantage because they're 2 rounds up. I mean, yes, there's still 23 minutes left, but really they can take so much time to do whatever they want here. And the pressure is really on Goblins to try to get things going because every second that ticks off the clock is more harmful for Goblins than it is for Homer.
Yeah, I mean, early on, there's only 23 minutes left, so...
Yeah, only, they'll be quick.
Yeah, you do have to be quick, and they've picked up 2. Svill is actually trading for a Pandemic there. The other soldier died a little bit earlier. But you do have to be quick, but I mean, I think that there might be some level of value here for Goblins just sort of situating themselves, and they haven't given up 3 rounds, which is good. They do have to be careful, though, because Pandemic, who is on the field for this team, has come up on Sniper. Remember, I'm old enough to remember Lugnuts when the Summer Brawl had no off classes. Those were the days. Phil is actually being the first casualty of this Pandemic Sniper. So, yeah, they want to be careful here. You don't want to give the Sniper too much room, but you also don't want to disrespect him too much. And the Med is playing in a good position here, sort of nestled right between 2 and 3. And Pandemic potentially could get a really wide pick in here.
something at least. I mean, that gives a bit of a chance for Goblins now to actually do some counter pokes. Maybe a sack. Sniper comes in, takes out the soldier. I mean, we should have seen it. Pandemic on the sniper. I told you, everyone on this team is big degenerate. They know how to do this. They know how to swap to sniper, and it's going to look pretty good for them if they can get a few more picks out of that one, especially something on the medic, who's now sort of trapped in a pretty forward position actually by the sniper.
He does get the soldier, which could open up opportunities, grab more space, and also maybe get a sack going. But no, a big soldier bomb right into door 5 is going to take down the pandemic threat, and they're actually going to use. I'm not sure if that was a force. I did not see that, but it's not going to amount to much. They picked up a soldier and they picked up pandemic, but it might just be Svillas who overcommits just that little bit too much and is going to die as a result. And now they're just going to send some soldiers in, trying to get Camille to force. But Camille, a little good bit of dodging and weaving. They have done their ammo mod homework, and that's going to present a full Uber opportunity, pushing it in quick through 1. See what happens as a result. Soldier bombing in, the cheeky market guard just gets a force and he gets cleaned up. They just have to consolidate these kills, but the frags are, not coming as fast as they wanted them. Although the red bed going down, could make the difference, but I think they're cutting their losses and they're getting out of dodge because all the spawner has come in, and Camille, the Svillas WM1 on scout is too powerful.
See, this is the sleeper agent phrase that's been activated, because right now that was a pretty, it wasn't the most successful last push, but they managed to pick up the med. They got their own medic in a pretty good spot, ready to pull out, ready to just hold on second, use Uber advantage and push back in. Then Svillas walks out, kills the medic, kills the demo man as well, and now they're pushing into mid, all off the back of Svillas' play. So, I mean, honestly, they finally activated it, man.
Now, are they stacking to deny? Doesn't look like they're going to deny this soldier anyway, and they're going to have slight advantage. My Uber HUD thing isn't working, but the red med did end up spawning a little bit earlier and healed a little bit earlier.
Very slight advantage.
Yeah, very slight.
It's munch head.
It's enough that they've pushed him out of second and have retained control of it. So, dropping for 2 rounds early on, Goblins have really managed to recover themselves and get situated in the match, and now they have an opportunity to either get some sacks in or try to push last. And it looks like they're just going to go straight in. Red big bomb, the force, the trade. It's finally happening, and they are going to get the heavy, which is going to be good. But EFG, the medic, is going to go down.
Oh no!
No, I don't think this is it. There's no last gap attempt. Last ditch attempt to get the frag, although the soldier bombing in, and he just gets cleaned up. Tachyon, that's 2 air shots I've seen out of him today so far. So he's certainly having a good game. He's feeling it so far.
Yeah, I mean, Tachyon's always feeling it on ear shot cam. I'm pretty sure the man always gets most ear shots in a match. Does pretty damn well so far, for sure. Question is, how well are Goblins going to play the situation, given that they are quite a bit down on the Uber advantage? So they're going in pretty heavily here, but Camille is sitting safe and sound inside lobby. They're sending forward players onto second. Goblins has retained control at the moment, but they can't hold it for too long. They do have that disadvantage. Their main focus now should really be forcing Homer as they try to pull out, while getting their own medic out to mid is to kite the Uber.
Well, it looks like they're pushing in through lower, and they're just going to end up using Matt trying to jump into the choke, get whatever he can. He does pick up Derpy, which is going to be a good pick, as well as Pandemic taking down Nerf as well. So that's 2 frags for 1 Uber. Uber disadvantage, but not having those 2 players on mid to help you fight could just buy them the space that they need, Goblins, to make this push work. And they managed to totally isolate the med, but it doesn't go down. Tachyon and Matt actually go down in the meantime. Pandemic does pick up Balmain, who was on the spy, and but they've dropped 3 for this. They finally do get the force, so that's good, because it'll give them a nice little 30-40% Uber advantage.
They're still so far in though.
They're
Goes
just
down
all
so
in.
low. 14 HP, barely managed to escape
health.
their life. I mean, Goblins is in a pretty good situation, back on second again. Just didn't get the medic though, which would have turned this into an almost guaranteed last push. Yeah,
now is one of those times where you wish that there was no off class. Not that anybody's on an off class, but like if there weren't any off classes, they would just take the fight. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
That
They'd be
instead,
prepared for it.
yeah, instead they're just opting to, which is, and this is a safe move right here if you're on Goblins, just to give up second. Matt coming in gets blasted 2-3 times, hit by a rocket, and that's gonna thwart this Uber on the side of Homer, and Goblins are just looking to push back in. And Homer rightfully fearing 2. They're all the way out of 1. They weren't able to capture 2 whatsoever. There actually is a player still up top in IT. It's not going to matter because they're just going and booking it straight to last. It
He could
looks
actually
like.
back cap here. Second has been capped quite a lot, so we'll see what he decides to do. Yeah, he has gone for the back cap. They're going to need to get it last really quickly here, take a lot of space. Just a massive delaying operation from the blue team, and they managed to hold
That was
on
a good
for long
back cap.
enough. Very good back cap. Very good
Here
last play as well.
Oh my god! Here I was just being like, nah, just don't worry about them. Just go on. And maybe that's why. Well, this is why I don't play Prem, right? You know, it buys them just enough time to get resituated on second, and or rather on last. So some good heads up play by the soldier extraordinaire on Homer.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was looking a really disastrous situation for Homer. I mean, full Uber disad, having to hold the last. Not a good place to be in, but that back cap just swung it just their way. They played that really well, and now they're in a position where they can actually try to push out. However, their Uber is not very big. They really lose Pandemic, trying to walk out of that. There have been sticks on the shutter. Really good kiting coming out from Homer. The counter use has happened, has been forced out, but given that there's 2-3 down now, including the medic on the side of Homer, I mean, this is a potential for Goblins to push. They still have their medic. They could take it slow and just decide to build Uber, or they could try to bully in with not really any player advantage, actually. They did lose 3 there.
Yeah, once they lost that soldier there while trying to push in, it's sort of, there's only so much you can do, and you've got the med. You really can just, again, cut your losses. A feeding soldier is going to be a good frag that they can push this advantage off of. But yeah, I'd really just, it's good to cut your losses. Just, okay, we've got what we wanted. We can just wait for Uber, we can go in. Phil is, I might say, by the way, is on a 7-kill streak. So,
I told you, they said the phrase, man. They said the phrase. Yeah. It's been activated. He just hasn't stopped fragging since then. Now, unfortunately, given that this is a land replacement, not a true Summer Brawl, we do have a sentry gun on last. Going to make this a little bit easier for the hold.
We also do have a spy.
We do,
but he gets found out immediately. 2-shot.
Phil is unfortunately dying, and that actually buys them enough time. Goblins were really slow with that push there. That's given enough time for Camille to get Uber on the side of Homer, and that Uber has been deployed really well and it's completely demolished the Goblins push. Picked up the medic as well. This is now looking disastrous for Goblins. Their players are just, goblining around, looking to find some opportunities for back caps here, because at the moment they could be in a really dire situation being pushed back to their last.
And all the players who were hiding to try to get some sort of fancy frag on the way out end up getting cleaned up. So this is another really good successful last push from Goblins, who they just seem more composed, and I don't know. I feel like Goblins. I don't know if it's fear or what's going on. They just these last pushes just aren't it. You know what I mean? They're not really going in with really any hard advantages, and even in times where they have had some good advantages, they've managed to scuff it for some reason or another.
Yeah, Homer is playing very decisively at the moment. Not always to their benefit, to be sure, but I mean, they're going in, early users, getting their players where they want them to be, really taking a lot of control over the situation. Now, Goblin is playing a little bit more reactively, a little bit more tentatively, just kind of poking and prodding a little bit more, trying to sort of feel out the enemy team to know where they have to be. Of course, it isn't going horribly for them. Matt is being taken down by a rush from Spillers. The Ubers have been exchanged here. I mean, Goblins is kind of getting... They do have very good players, and their very good players are making some very good plays. I mean, as always said by Crowd, what good's a player who doesn't make any plays? And the Goblins players are certainly making the plays they need to put their presence in this map.
Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting, for lack of a better word, push there from Blue. Because at one point it didn't seem like they had any... Oh, there's actually big soldier flank from the guy with the Korean characters. I don't know who that is. Apparently it's not Raylan. And look at this collapse. All the players on Goblins just They're either hiding or they're just getting cleaned up. There's a soldier playing on the blue crate, but Camille is just dodging and weaving, and no chance there. And so there was a couple of consecutive last pushes from Goblins, but now Homer just has the they've got the momentum again. They've got a big Uber advantage. Camille has managed to keep themselves alive throughout all the chaos, and like even there, rides the stickies off of the point. It's a big Uber advantage. What do you want to see them do here with the Slugnuts?
Well, it looks like they're going to take it through door one. I don't know if it's the best idea. They've had to use pretty early here. Gotten the sentry down very quickly, though. Big kite coming out from Goblins all the way around. Matt actually taking a little bit of damage up top. No one on the point yet, and the Uber has already faded. Even players, this isn't looking too well for the push. Tachyon with a giant bomb in. Counter bomb though, Svilla's going down is going to be really hurtful for Homer. Sticks have been cleared off the point, but again, nothing really happening. This push is just really too slow to get too much, I think. Bomb in on the medic, he goes down to single-digit HP. And they managed to get this presence on the point for it.
Yeah, it was very interesting. That was really patient play, and it came off very well for Homer. Where for a while there, like normally at some point during a last push, you get that rotational movement or across the point, and it took quite a while. But they were just waiting for their soldiers to bomb in, and that was enough of a distraction that allowed them to drop 3 on the point and get the round. So really good last play from Homer there.
Yeah, typically the ones that go too slowly don't work out the best, but I mean, that bomb, just perfect timing, allowed the rest of the team to walk in and cap that point. On to this mid, though, looking pretty even at the start. Both teams are doing a pretty good job of keeping their players alive. Tachyon him with a big bomb onto the medic, though. He goes down pretty low. That's crossfire. That's 3 players down on the side of Goblins, sorry. And they're just shoved into this corner again, getting picked up, something awful. Nerf is alive on pretty decent HP with Derpy, so they maybe have a chance to pick up a couple of frags, but this mid should be pretty well lost.
Yeah, and well, they get the force towards the end there, which is a nice little bit of a salvage, but from what I was seeing, I've got this nice little overhead view. They managed to push a lot of the Goblin players into that corner, right? The corner of no return, as we'll call it. And just 1 or 2 well-timed bombs, well landed after the bomb too. Even more importantly, the post-bomb positioning was quite good from Homer. It was just enough to really distract the team, and you got 3 players flying over, and all of a sudden 3 players dead on the side of Goblins. So a really good mid fight, and with less than 10 minutes to play for in the match, Goblins, they've really got to make a push happen, and they've got to make it work. At some point, well, you know how it is. The time on the board won't be enough to get any more caps. So time is of the essence. And Goblins, however, they just haven't really seemed like they've been able to. Well, haven't seen, because it's true. They haven't been able to get in these last pushes to work really in their favor, and even as well, sometimes they're just taking these unfavorable fights. Like they just took one in Sewer. Yeah, it was a trade, but it's also, why don't you get a buff and just try to fast fly through the choke, right?
Yeah, trades aren't really beneficial if you're just keeping the status quo here. I mean, Goblins needs to be getting some aggressive pushes going. They need to be taking any tiny little advantages they can, or even positional advantages, and just really going for the push. But so far, Goblins just hasn't shown us that level of decisiveness in play this map. And so I don't really know if they've got it in them to swing it around. 8 minutes left, 3 rounds. It's definitely doable. But I mean, that big bomb coming in, getting the force, and getting 3 kills as well. I mean, that's just a disastrous situation for them. They're going to be forced to pull out to last, and honestly, this is a situation where there's little enough time left on the clock. Oh no! I was just going to say, man, Homer could just sit here on second for another 8 minutes and just win the game. But given that medic kill, they don't even need to do that. They're going to have some very large Uber advantage and just have a very easy time pushing last.
Then they get forced.
Looks like they're already going.
Oh, Camille just gets bombed from behind, and yeah. Sorry, I had to look away from the computer real quick, and I look back, and it's just carnage.
You look at the computer, you see one team with a medic, big Uber advantage, holding second. You look away for a fraction of a second, look back, and you see that one team's been wiped, A medic's still dead, man. I don't know what just went on right there. There's a super aggressive push out of Homer there. It looks like they were really, I don't know, they were insistent on not waiting for the advantage, just pushing straight into last there. Went disastrously for them. They lost their medic in it, managed to pick up the enemy mid anyway, so Goblins isn't in really any of a better situation at that. Homer just sort of flubbed their really dominant position.
I see. Thank you for that update. But,
No worries, man.
So, 7 minutes on the clock. Uber advantage? No, disadvantage for Goblins. Yeah, I think at this point, you know, fortune favors the brave. You've got to go in and hopefully get some level of a force off on the medic, but at the same time, you've got to. I mean, really, you just have to figure out a way to push from second into last, second into mid, and then mid to second, then second to last. There we go. But it's just, like I said, for Goblins, it's just nothing's really clicked today. We do get an exchange here in front of door 2. It's just really, really deep too. And the positioning, the post-Uber positioning is all favors Homer as well. They bought all the space. They picked up 3 players. Phyllis is about to respawn, so it'll be potentially a 4v5 if they choose to push last, which they are. And they've got to be careful.
Good choice,
Phyllis,
I think.
Yeah. At the very least, when you've got those 2 soldier advantage, there we go. Well, you've got 2 soldiers as an advantage for your players, right? I always find it's good just to go poke and see if you can get in and make something happen. And if the fight's not on, you call it off and you go back, you repush with the advantage. But that was really good. They picked up 1, and then once the point was clear, soldier jumps on, gets the remainder of the cap time, and it's 4-0. And
honestly, at this stage, it's he who dares wins, and Homer's daring, Goblins not, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I think those first 2 rounds that they picked up might have been a big morale killer, because you know what it's like when you drop 2 rounds early on. You really have to be concentrated to pull yourself around. And in Goblin's credit, like this mid fight's been good. They got Camille early on, Tachyon's early on, dead early on. They'd have to protect their med, and they don't. 96 Uber, and
they just lost way too many players. I mean, this is the thing, is that even though Homer lost their med there, they made Goblin pay in lives to take their medic. And at the end of the day, they just didn't have enough players left to protect their own medic, protect their own players. That's a situation where sort of that aggressive wrap hinders your team in a situation like that, because you can't just pull out to second, regroup, protect your medic there. You have to sort of stick into the last and take the very long walk out, which has the big risk. Huge bomb coming in though, trying to get the medic, fails, Camille survives. You know, now it looks like Goblin's really trying to get something done. 4 minutes left on the clock. If they don't, you know, cap basically right now, they don't have any chance of turning this around.
I mean, I think with 4 minutes left, there is no chance of turning it around. I guess we're in what we would call dead time, and you know, it's basically a 2v6. Some players have despawned, and now it's just a 5v2. Derpy and EFG going down late in that fight. They have picked up the 2 soldiers on the side of Homer, but they're just like no, we don't fear. We're ready to close this affair up.
Yeah, I mean, Homer smells the blood in the water, and they're really just going for it there. Matt goes down, just going to slow their push a little bit, but 3 players still down on the side of Goblin. Another player actually went down, but there's an Uber from Camille. Doesn't need to be popped just yet. Presence over the point. They're going for frags. They managed to get the frags and get the point. And there's a 5-0. Mercy rule now, finally. Putting Goblin out of their misery.
GG's well played. So, Goblin taking the first game of the night, 5-0 on process.
Homer taking the first game of the night.
Goblin losing 5-0 on process. And like that was I don't know, just a very good game from Homer. Just very decisive and just clinical. I think clinical is the best way that you could say it. Every opportunity that they were given to push into last and make a push work, more often than not, it worked in their favor. And Goblin, you know, the team's very DM heavy, and all these players are certainly talented in their own right. It just they couldn't get it to work as a team on the night, and sometimes it's just how the cookie crumbles.
Sometimes it's just how it goes. I mean, this is a single elimination, so they're gone now, aren't they?
It's a group stage. Swiss.
Right.
We're in the Swiss format at the moment.
Hey, here you go. Well, we do also have logs up on screen at the moment. What jumps out at you? I mean, I see 34 kills and top damage on Pandemic, so that's what jumps out at me.
Yeah, certainly that. Yeah, when you're going up against a scout that's 34 and 8, that's pretty rough. I don't know if it's so much anything that the teams that jumps out from the logs, although certainly Camille's deaths compared to EFG's 5 to 13. I think what I was seeing a lot of the time was just better coordination and better team play, and then it would just allow Pandemic to come in and clean up, and that was it. So I think we're going to go for a break, and we'll be back at some point with more CappingTV 2020 Summer Brawl, this time with off classes. Stay tuned.